This bottle to respond to it, because I don't know anything more than that. I told you everything I know. So you can ask the bottle, but don't ask me.
It's almost time.
Bears are who we thought they were.
Nathan Clark Show.
If you want to crown them, then crown their ass.
Only on LowCountryRadioSports.com.
They are who we thought they were. And we let them off the hook.
Playoffs? Don't talk about playoffs. You kidding me? Playoffs? I just hope we can win a game.
Come on now. Just sit back, relax, and let's hear from the coach.
We couldn't do diddly poo offensively. We couldn't make a first down. We couldn't run the ball. We didn't try to run the ball. We couldn't complete a pass. We couldn't stop the run. Every time they got the ball, they went down and got points. We got our totally kicked.
Lord, better be sponsored by somebody. Mustang football and the Nathan Clark Show. Now give me that cow there. I said, come on now. Get up out your seat now, Mustang Nation. Yeah, I know you got some moves so far. Let's go.
What's going on, Mustang Nation? You're listening to Mustang Nation and the Nathan Clark Show. I'm Charlie Moon, and alongside today is, as always, each week, head coach Nathan Clark of South Effingham Mustangs. I got it right that time. I swear to goodness. It's been a 50-50 proposition all year long, whether it's been on the air calling a couple of the South Effingham games or teaming up with Kenny Williams and Troy Alford during the pregame show the other night, or here weekly on the coaching show. But I got it right that time. And I finally figured out, Coach Clark, what's been tripping me up. And I don't remember if it was Troy and Kenny and Jeff Schulte teamed up with us. We did an hour-long pregame show. Started at 6:30 the other night. And I don't remember which one of them, but they all looked out at the field and said, look at that 50-yard line. I was like, okay. He said, what do you see out there? I see an SE. They're like, you think that's what keeps tripping you up? I was like, you know what? I think that might be right. I'm just going to blame it on the 50-yard line. And then I started thinking about it. I think that is it. And I'm not complaining. I'm not blaming anything on anybody else. It's my fault. But I think that's the picture I have in my mind, that SE. And I just, Southeast, I can't, anyway. Believe you me, I can tell you this, Cam Edwards and Nathan Clark. After seeing the way that you guys play football on Friday night, I don't give a darn what it says on paper. You guys are a freaking tough football team. We knew coming into the ball game that nothing was going to be easy every yard. We knew it. There were a lot of people we kind of had to tell and say, look, don't worry about what that record says. These cats can play. They just, had a few games with a few mistakes all at the most inopportune time, and you flip that switch a few times, you got a totally different record. These cats are going to come to play. And Coach Clark, I got to hand it to you guys. You guys came to play, and you gave it everything you had.
Well, I was really proud of our boys. They did. They left it all on the field. They fought. They did everything that they were asked to do. We've been able to stay together as a team, even through some adversity this year. The seniors have stepped up and done a great job of continuing to go out every single day and practicing really hard, to be in the weight room every day and work hard and lift and do everything the right way all the way until the end. And I'm really proud of that, and I have to really, my hat goes off to all the seniors for doing that. And because sometimes when things get rough and things don't go the way that you want them to, the natural thing is sometimes not to give it your best effort. And they've done that all the way throughout the end, and they fought, they battled, they scratched, they clawed, I'm really proud of the performance that they gave the other night, even though we didn't come out victorious. They did fight really, really hard, and that's as a coach, that's all I can ask for somebody to give it their best, and I feel they gave it their all, left on the field.
And one of the things that we said off and on all night was this is it was just kind of a picture and a glimpse into what high school athletics and high school football, especially in the Southeast, is supposed to be. It was It was, and I'm not exaggerating here at all. Between the game against Brunswick and the game against you guys, and Coach Zot would agree because he said the same. He agreed with me last night on the live show we had at Richmond Hill. Between the Brunswick game and the game with you guys, it was the two most physical games they've played all year. What say you on that? Down there on that sidelines, I know it had to be physical.
There was no doubt about it. There was a bunch of, I thought players on both teams were giving up, blocking, tackling, fighting for every extra yard, and just getting after it. You know, they put I thought both teams the other night, obviously both of us were running football teams. We ran the ball 42 times. They ran the ball 29 times, and their running back he's a great football player. He had over 200 yards rushing and big bowling ball, and they were going to hand it to him all night long, and we were going to hand it to Cam all night long, and it just both teams decided to put a lot of guys in the box, and it was physical game the whole night.
Yeah, and speaking of those two running backs, Zion Gilliard, he had 21 carries for 210 yards and a couple scores, and that was kind of his coming out party. I mean, you know, he had shown some flashes early on. We had kind of kept begging and kind of hoping that we're not saying really on air that much, but just kind of hoping that his legs would get in shape, because he didn't play a down of football last year at Long County before he transferred over. But that was kind of his coming out party. But Cam Edwards didn't need a coming out party. Cam Edwards that name and that effort was already out there. 33 carries, 170 yards, and a score. And I'll tell you another thing Coach Lazat said last night on the show. He said Cam Edwards, that's the best offensive football player we've played all season. And they've already played, some great offensive weapons in, Kalen Michael at, Statesboro, and then Scobie Hill and Reese Simmons at, Brunswick. So they played some of the better athletes in the state. And he said last night, without a doubt, Cam Edwards was the best offensive player that they played all year. Cam, you came out from the get-go, and you let everybody know that you were there to play just like the rest of the guys with you. You laid the hammer, and this is about your running style probably a combination of your running style and just effort in general. I kind of describe you as light on the feet, but heavy with the pads. Would that be a kind of a good way to describe your running style?
Yeah, yes, sir.
Yeah, and it showed. I mean, there were several times where, I'd get started with the play call and, give to Cam Edwards on the right, and boom, within a split second, you're 9, 10, 11, 12 yards downfield, and you're trucking somebody for another 3 or 4 yards. It seems like anytime you get hit, or let's put it this way, anytime a tackle is in progress, there's going to be more yards given up. And I don't even necessarily mean yards after contact. I mean, even when the tackle is made, you always seem to have that innate ability to end up getting another yard, another 2 yards, just in the process of being tackled. Is that something you work on? Is it something you think about, or is it just something that just kind of happens?
I would say it's a combination of all three of what you said. I try to work on being the best back I can be, and sometimes it just happens because I fall through a hole and see I have a little bit more I can keep going, turning my legs, and it was just it was taught and coached. And
I hear you. To get things going in that first quarter, you guys had a couple good drives put together and ended up in field goals down inside the 10-yard line. Coach Clark, you obviously had a lot of confidence in a guy like Leon Rickman, but those probably were tough decisions, kind of like that tweener spot, 4th down and goal from the 4 or 5. It's kind of, it's just a tweener, no right or wrong decision. But, you guys were able to get that 6-0 lead. But I know you wish you probably could have finished off at least one of those drives. But the statement was made by you guys early on in that first quarter that you were going to give it everything you got all night.
Well, I obviously, if I wished I could have it again, and we would have gone for it once or twice and hopefully picked up a touchdown. But, I felt at that point in time our kids needed we were playing well on defense, and I felt that, hey, we need to put points on the board. We can't get down here and not score any points, because because our kids needed confidence that we could score a few points, and unfortunately it wasn't 4th and 1. It was 4th and 3, 4th and 4, a little bit further. And Richmond Hill, when you get down there in the 5-yard line, they're able to put 8, 9 guys in the box. And sometimes we struggle a little bit throwing the football and catching. And the best thing to do is run, and they know that. And it's a little more difficult to pound that thing down in there when you have when they have more defenders than we have offensive football players. But I had a lot of confidence in our defense, and proud of our offense down there, and we knew that Liam would convert and get some field goals, and we had opportunities, and I felt that we came out and we had a great plan, and we moved the ball. We had the ball several times there in the first half inside on our half of the football field.
Yeah, and that's kind of the way that we described it on there too. Was that you're in that tweener spot, 3, 4, 5-yard line, and that's when that secondary gets squeezed down. They don't have near as much. They have not near as much room to play with to cover. But like you said, hey, fourth and half a yard, 4th and 1, maybe even 4th and 2, it's an easy decision. But then, Richmond Hill didn't even score until early on in the second quarter to make it 7-6. So even into that second quarter, you guys felt like you had to feel like you were still in the ball game.
No question about it. I felt the whole time, and you kept thinking that, hey, our defense played lights out, and you have to give it up to those boys and the coaches for getting them fired up and ready to go, and they executed the game plan and did well. Obviously, like you talked about, Gilliard, he's a great back, and he did a lot of good things, and we knew he was going to get his yards, but we felt if we could move the ball and potentially trade some scores throughout the night and get the opportunity to come down towards the end, and it was able to get to a 20-13 football game, and we had opportunities there in the second half.
Cam, in that fourth quarter, or let's just say second half. Richmond Hill, they go into the halftime up 13-6, and then they score before that 5 or 6 minute mark in the third quarter. Was there? I tell you, eyeball test from my point of view, there was none. But was there ever any point in a sideline where you had any guys kind of? I don't want to use the word giving up, because I think that word or that phrase sometimes is overused in sports. As I sit here and watch one of your runs on a highlight film where you truck 2 people around the edge on the home sideline, and then ended up okey doke and ole by a couple other guys and firing down the sideline, down the side of the 10-yard line. Man, what a heck of a run. But I digress. And I don't want to use the word giving up, because again, I think that phrase sometimes is overused. But was there ever any point on the sidelines we probably had some players just kind of the heads kind of dropping and the emotion of it all kind of getting to them, because you guys had to win that game to keep fighting for a playoff spot? Did that ever happen? Just frustration. Again, not necessarily giving up or pouting, but just frustration.
Well, we learned early on in our season that we can come back on anybody, really. But because Wayne, we were down, I think 2-3 scores, and came out halftime and played ball, came out and won that game. So we knew, if we're down against this team, we can obviously come back, because they know they couldn't stop us on offense, and we're getting stops on defense. We just keep playing ball and hopefully come out with a win.
I think about a play, Coach Clark, refresh my memory, the young man in secondary to make this play. And this was early on in the game. You guys had kicked the 2 field goals, go up 6-0. And I'm looking at my notes here. Richmond Hill, Ty Goldsworth, one of the better quarterbacks in the conference all year long, didn't have as good a night that night. It could have been partly because you guys were taking some of the passing game away, maybe. Or maybe it was because Zion Gilliard was, having a good night. Who knows? But he only completed 4 passes. And one of those was to Hayden McCullough, a little out route, about a 12 or 13 out route, about the 35, 36-yard line. And I don't remember who it was in your secondary, but came up and scrapped and made the tackle. And right there, I think it was right in front of you, stripped that ball away, and you guys jump on the ball. You guys had to feel like at that point it's your night. Do you remember that play?
But there's no doubt about it. You know, they played a little hitch pattern on the sideline, and Justin Martell, he's done a great job. He's played on both sides of the ball this year, plays receiver for us, and he's played some corner, and he ripped the ball out, and we fell on top of it, and we had a chance there. We were up 6-0 in the first play. We took a shot, and we got behind the DB, and we just barely overthrew it, and we just couldn't quite come up with that play. And I think if we would have been 1/2 second, I mean, just one step, we were one step away, and we would have been up 13-0. And that particular possession, we were unable to get any points out of it. We didn't move the ball. We decided to go for it on 4th down. It was could have gone for a field goal, but it was a little lengthy field goal, and I felt the best thing to do was, hey, we didn't go for it earlier. Let's go ahead right now. Let's try to get that 1st down, and we were unsuccessful with it. But I do feel that, hey, we were playing really, really good football, and you know, I felt that we were going to get some breaks, and we did. But we weren't at the end. We just weren't quite as fortunate as we needed to be.
And you got to, speaking about that, some guys making plays, like Martell. You got some guys in those skill spots that don't have SR beside their name. I'm talking about sophomores and juniors. I'm talking about Troutman, Fields, Justin Martell, and Jamal Leak. I mean, you got some dudes coming back too.
We do. We're very fortunate that I mean, yeah, obviously, this year we haven't been we're not as old, with our offensive, really on both sides of the ball. We have a lot of guys coming back. We don't have that many seniors, playing. We have a bunch, but they're not all. There's a lot of younger kids that are playing. I think it's going to give us opportunity. They got a lot of experience this year, and like you said, offensively, quarterback's a sophomore, Leaks is a sophomore, Jamari's a junior, Troutman's a sophomore, Aubrey Heath, Ergel, they're sophomores. Justin Martell, he's a junior. Offensive line-wise this year, we started 4 different sophomores at some given point in time. We got a junior and Mason Anderson. He started a bunch of football games. Robert Clark's he's a junior fullback. So we played a lot of guys over there on the offensive side of the ball that are young, and a lot of sophomores. And defensively, I think we started probably 8 guys Friday night that were not seniors. I know Derek Pounds started, Lewis Hicks started, and they maybe was only L.J. Childers. He came in and played a good amount, but I don't think he started. So I think we probably had 9 guys returning that were sophomores or juniors on defense. So we do have a lot of guys that will be coming back to have a lot of experience. But I feel that these seniors have done a tremendous job in buying in to working hard and doing right and not giving up and fighting all the way to the end. So I'm really proud of these seniors.
Yeah, you should be, Coach Clark. You got guys like you got on with us now, Cam Edwards. Cam, are you more of a leader, vocal leader, leader by example, or a little bit of both? Talk about that.
I try to lead both, but mostly it's by like, if you see me doing something, you gotta do the same, or like vice versa. If I see you doing something good, then I'll keep it that way, and just.
I like it. I'll keep it that way. Well, son, let me tell you, if I was on that football team and I saw you do something and you looked at me with an eye like I need to be doing it too, I think I'm gonna get my tail in gear and do what needs to be done, because the way you ran that ball the other night, it looked like you were possessed. There was one play in particular that it was 3rd down and it was 3rd down and 20 inside your own territory, and you may remember this play. And you shot up the middle, and honestly, after the play was over, I said, well, that was supposed to be a safe run up the middle, and maybe you break something off, but they run a little clock, and then maybe, have a chance at breaking something off, but in the end, you're probably going to punt away, but you did something safe. But in this case, it took 2 seconds, and it was 21, 22 yards downfield, barely touched, and you laid the lumber at the end. Do you remember that play?
Yeah, I remember the two plays before I wasn't on the field, and then when I came on the field third down, I was like, the only thing going through my mind was get the first down. So I saw the whole offensive line open the hole, Peyton Beasley. I saw him go block off to the backer, and I just flew through the hole and saw the safety come down and stiff arm him, came down, tried to get the first down, tried to get more, but luckily 11 came and got me, but it was good.
Yeah, I hear you. In that fourth quarter, there was a couple different plays, and we sometimes have a sideline guy and sometimes don't. And Friday night we did not for various reasons, but and I would have loved to have our sideline guy there this night because we had the 2 plays, and I'm sure you knew I was going to talk about them. But the 51-yard touchdown run, it didn't really seal the game for Richmond Hill, but it really helped them take control at such an emotional time in that fourth quarter by Zion Gilliard, where he breaks a couple tackles, goes down the sideline, and ended up getting inside that pylon, and the ball comes loose. They jump on it. There's some argument over whose ball it should be, and honestly, my call on air was something like, he scores, something, he scores, and I see the ball's loose, and then Brock asked me, did he just fumble that ball? And I said, well, at the very end, I did see the ball loose, but I have no idea. Because from my vantage point, I couldn't tell. I just knew the ball came loose. But we'll see. But what I did know is there was no trailing referee coming down the sidelines like there's supposed to be. And I don't know where the back judge was in the secondary. I don't know if he was, I'm just going to leave it like that. I don't know if he just, sat there and saluted Zion Gilliard going down the field or what. But there was some serious discussion down there on the sidelines. Talk about, I know you're going to say what you can say and, some things you might not be able to say or want to talk about, but just talk about the discussion between the referees and that whole scenario.
Well, I mean, you need to just go back and watch the tape and you'll see what really happened. So,
okay.
Other than that, just, tape doesn't lie, but they made the call, and we can only control what we can control, and I thought Tyreek, our corner, did a great job of getting down there and ripping the ball out, and he hustled really well, and he did everything he was coached to do. Tyreek did a phenomenal job, and he hit his hand right there on the football, and the ball came out, and
Yeah.
The referee called a touchdown.
Yeah, I hear exactly what you're saying. Well said, Coach. Well said. But I'm here to let you know that we like to be Brock and I and Chip on the Richmond Hill crew. We are hometown. I mean, I'm not a Richmond Hill guy, but hey, I'm a hometown broadcast. But at the same time, we're not just 2 dudes yelling on microphones on Friday nights and just, the referees are cheating if it doesn't go our way and every call should go away. So it's not that all. On air, I did say, hey, look, I have no idea. And when they gave it to us, I got no idea if that was what that should have been. We're thankful it happened. But I did say, what I did know was referees weren't in the place to make the call, regardless. So, nevertheless, move on from that. Cam, when you're going through a game like that, Cam, you got there's like, is there ever a flip that switches, or does your switch flip before the game and just never turns off? You know what I mean? When I think you do. But talk about that.
Yes, sir. I usually just try to just keep playing. With that, it was just like, oh, well, it happens. Keep going. Got to keep playing. But usually I just try to stay locked in and just keep playing, keep running the ball, keep trying to do what I can for us to be in a position to win, and make sure my teammates are doing good and just all that.
Things in the fourth quarter, things got pretty emotional, a little ticky-tacky on both sides, and honestly, it's another thing I said on there, that there were a few times early on in the ball game where the referees had opportunities to kind of try to take control of the ball game, and they didn't. They just kind of let things go. And in the fourth quarter, it got a little worse, and then it almost got ugly a couple times. Then Richmond Hill had the drive before their last touchdown, or maybe it was before their second to last score, and there was 30 yards worth of penalties, and we figured it had to be some kind of unsportsmanlike, but we didn't see anything. We didn't really know. What did they tell you on that situation, Coach Clark?
Well, what happened? Our defensive end went in to make the tackle, and it would have been third and about 8. It was on second and 8, I guess, 2nd and 7. Went to make the tackle, tackled the guy back there behind the line of scrimmage, and he had him wrapped up. And they said he put his hand on his face mask, and then he slung the guy down, and just made the tackle. But I guess it was a little late for their liking, and so they penalized on 15 yards for face mask and 15 yards for a late hit, which knowing the young man that did that, he's never had any issue like that. So that's not his character or his nature to do anything after the play. I thought he was just playing good, clean football, but that's what that official decided to make that call. But I just thought our kid was playing really, really hard. So sometimes you catch bad breaks, and I'm sure those officials, they don't mean to do things incorrectly.
Right.
They try to ref it fair, and he just felt it was after the whistle. But I give it up. I think our kid Tanner did an excellent job of playing really, really hard football and doing it to the best of his potential. And sometimes you just have bad calls, and the game, it goes on both. Sometimes it goes the other way. So it was unfortunate for us.
Right. And I think that I didn't know that. This is the first time I knew that. We even asked Coach Lazat we even asked Coach Lazat that last night, and he said, I'm not exactly 100% sure. I think there was a face mask on the play, but other than that, I'm not really sure I'm not really sure. So even he wasn't sure. And that's why we weren't sure on air, because we didn't see. And usually, if you get 30 yards of unsportsmanlike or late hit or whatever it might be, usually you see, it was, it's kind of obvious. But that's why we had no idea what it was, because it.
And for it to come from him, it's just one of those things. Hey, that's not that young man's nature, So that was uncharacteristic, and it was like, wow, that's crazy. But hey, it is what it is. I don't think it was a chippy game. I thought the kids played really hard and left it on the field, and to me, I didn't think it really got chippy. I thought it was just two teams playing really, really hard football.
Well, I can handle that. You're the one down there on the sidelines.
Maybe I was the one that got a little aggressive with some of the calls. But I felt the two teams. I felt that they played clean, hard football against one another, and it was a fun battle.
Yeah, that's true. And we talked about that at the end of the game, because when the game is over, you finally got, and Cam, you could talk about this. We finally gotten to the point in this world, in this country, in general, where we know that COVID is still out there, and we know we still got to do some things the right way. But we're getting back to normal, and we're at the point now where the COVID handshake is it's not gone, but it's like, did y'all? Well, first of all, Coach Clark, did y'all talk about it before the game? Because there's been a couple times this year where teams have shook hands like you did. And there's been a couple times this year where the COVID handshake has been there, and it looked like both teams knew. Friday night, I don't know. Was it something you and Matt talked about?
No, I mean, I like Matt a lot, and we talk on the phone sometimes, and I respect him and his football program, and I feel that he feels the same about us. And hey, here at South Effingham, we're going to try to do things the right way and try to be classy people, and the phrase that we've used all year was do right, and the right thing to do, even win or lose, is go out and shake somebody's hand and tell them they played a good game. And they, hey, good luck to y'all. We gave it all we got, and no, that's just how we do things. We're going to go out there and we're going to shake somebody's hand, win or lose.
Yeah. Well, that makes a little more sense to me because they're sitting there watching, and in that fourth quarter, and you probably explained it better. There wasn't ticky-tacky stuff. It was just extremely physical all the way through the whistle. There were a couple times where we felt like there was going to be some fisticuffs, but it wasn't like it wasn't situations where it was anybody's fault on either side. It was just two guys going at it hard at the end of the play. But then, finally, when you get down, you can talk about this part. Finally, when you get down to the end, as you finally realize the game is over, there was obviously a lot of emotion on your sideline because they kind of realized the finality of it. And then we're looking at the Richmond Hill guys and your guys, and there was like a pause. And I don't mean in any way, shape, or form that anybody was like daring anybody. It's not what I mean. But it looked like they're not sure if they're doing the COVID handshake or the regular handshake, because we're at that time now where sometimes teams don't know. Are we supposed to like do the COVID thing and wave? We're supposed to go, and it's almost like, are they getting ready to throw down or what's going on here? And then of course, you guys split the 50-yard line. Everything was fine. But Cam, there had to be a lot of emotion there at the end of that game when the finality kind of hit. But we parlayed that into, look, now these guys are splitting that 50-yard line. They're handshaking. There's some hugging. There's some high-fiving because they just they just battled their freaking hearts out for 3 hours. They're trying to beat the mess out of the guy on the other side of the line with them. And now is when that line is shifted and they're changed. They're like, they respect what the other guy's doing. Talk about that emotion there in that 2 or 3 minutes.
Well, football is an emotional game. It's a hard-fought game. You got to be tough to play football. And Coach Carter preaches that to us all the time. And it was just towards the end of the game, we're like, okay, well, we got to respect them. They beat us. They came in our house, beat us on homecoming, and that's sometimes what happens.
Well, that's a pretty good way to end the game talk. But we'll have one more show next week, and there are already some rumblings of some things that are in the works for some things during the winter and spring for South Effingham sports, possibly in relationship with Low Country Radio. So it will not. It definitely will not be the end of that relationship. But before we go, Cam, as always, I think you were on one of the shows earlier. I know you were earlier on in the season. I always like to wrap things up with a little bit of fun, and I'm gonna ask you talk to the people of Mustang Nation about when your pads are off. When your pads are off, and you're not doing anything that has anything involved to do with athletics. Do you play any other sports?
Track.
Okay, track. Okay. So, track will be in the spring. When you're not doing anything related to sports, what's the first thing on your list you like to do?
Probably just eat. Maybe eat.
Eat. Now, do you cook at all, or you like to go out to eat?
We usually go out to eat, but when my mom cooks, that's when it's real good.
Oh yeah, like what? What does she throw down?
Like her mac and cheese is real good. Like I'm just ready for Thanksgiving.
Oh man, you better stop me now. Good gracious alive. What we got, like 4 weeks? Oh my, you done got me thinking now. Mac and cheese. All right. Now here's the next question. Green bean casserole. Now, is green bean casserole worth it or not?
I never had it. But...
Okay. All right. To me, Cam, it's a good thing you never had it. Don't worry about it. Green bean casserole to me is like the most worthless thing at Thanksgiving dinner, except when Serena makes it. She puts a couple of ingredients in it. That's my girlfriend. It's like different than any other green bean casserole I've ever had. But any other green bean casserole I've had in my entire life, I taste it. I'm like, what? They only serve it at Thanksgiving. It's like cranberry sauce. Cranberry sauce and dressing is great. They only serve it one time a year at Thanksgiving. Green bean casserole is like, why is this special for Thanksgiving? And it stinks. It's not good at all. Coach Clark, what do you think about green bean casserole?
I actually like it. I think it's pretty good.
Huh. All right, well, maybe it's me. Maybe it's all me. It must all be me. Or maybe it's the cook.
Well, I like about anything. I'm not very picky.
Okay. All right.
But
cool.
it's definitely not my favorite.
All right. Okay. At least. All right. We're on the same page on that. But Coach Clark, same thing with you. I know you like beaching it in the summer. You said you hit up the Grand Strand, and but when football is over, now again, I know it's big time high school football. There is no true off season, but there are some pockets of time where you really get to just throw football out the window for a little bit. You got to have that time. If you don't, you just don't drive yourself insane. But what are a couple of things you like to do?
Well, I just like to hang out with my family. However, the best way to be with my wife and my kids, that's whatever they have going on. My daughter, she's gotten into gymnastics, and she does some dance, and she did some cheerleading this fall. So whatever activity she's involved with, and I just like to see her smile and have a good time. And whenever she's happy, I'm happy. So I like to be with my family in whatever means that is.
Well, man, I don't know if there's any other way to round out week 9 and the coach's show for Mustang Nation and Nate Clark show than that right there. That pretty much kind of wraps things up in a nutshell right there. But Cam, I had a blast watching and calling your game the other night. I bragged on you just as much on air. Maybe well, the recording actually, I'm not sure if the recording is online yet, but if it's not, it'll be up there in the next couple of days. You can search for it on our LoveCountryRadio.com Facebook page. It'll be up there. If it's not already there, it'll be there tonight or tomorrow night or maybe like Friday morning at the latest. But search for it and listen to it. I bragged on you probably as much as I've bragged on any other individual high school football player that was on the other team as I have in my 25 years of doing this. So, congratulations on being such a great football player. And, Coach Clark has chosen you to be on the air with us, twice. So that says a lot also, because Coach Clark doesn't have any floozies on air, unless it's a great kid. So congratulations on a great season, Cam. And good luck. And hey, whatever is next for you in your life, I know you're going to be great.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
All right. Thanks, Coach Clark. Thanks, Cam. And good luck on Friday night as you guys get ready to take on Bradwell Institute and another new coach in Region 2. I know Coach Clark is your 3rd year there. But new coach at Bradwell Institute, Deshaun Brock, is there at Bradwell trying to get things rock and rolling there. But good luck as you take on Bradwell. If you guys try to get a big W, have a great weekend, and we'll talk to you next week.
All right. Thank you so much. Have a good
All right, guys. Bye.
Bye.